All right, welcome back, folks, to another edition of Toronto Media Show and Tell What the Hell. And as you can notice, I have a different backdrop because this is a very special, unique look at a, well, not going to say one of a kind. The person who made these figures, these are custom works, who I'm not sure if he wants me to get his name out there because he's no longer making these, unfortunately. But I wanted to talk about them not because of the quality of these, but just because of how happy this made me. Now, I got two of these for $9.99, and when you open these little packets here, as you can see, looks like a bunch of little bones and stuff like that, right? Now, I was looking for figures on eBay, and there's old lines and old things I'm trying to rebuild, stuff from my childhood. And I came across this figure here, and I put them together here. And let's take a look here. Let me adjust my camera. Now, as you can see, you can already get a look at him. He's not going to stand, that's for sure. But he is a Remco-styled skeleton. It looks a lot like, what's his name, Rags from Pirates of the Galaxies. And Pirates of the Galaxies was what people would consider, some people consider them Masters of the Universe knockoffs. But I kind of feel that they were their own thing, along with the other warrior beasts. But Remco, who did the warrior beasts, did a number of lines. I'm going to just put that there so you could... You know what? I'm going to put an alien egg behind him so he can sit down. Or, hey, I just did a toilet review a while ago. Let's get him on the toilet. There you go. So, this is not this was taken from one of the original molds. Not original molds, but from the mold of the skeleton. Now, I remember having this figure as a kid. It was a black skeleton. There was a black one and a red one. And... hence the red background, so this can kind of show off a little bit more the contrast and all that. The line were called again Pirates of the Galaxies. Yeah, you get it, SEAS, and there were space pirates of sorts, and they fought these skeleton creatures. And there was a red one and a black one. The head was different. The head, I believe, is from Amigo type skeleton. And now these molds are now available. You could actually get some of these molds through a company that I will cover later. Is it Realms of the Underworld or Zolo World? Realms of the Underworld. And let's just give you a comparison here with one of the original warrior beasts. And now let's just pretend, because the body looks almost exactly the same, except Rags had this little weird design there. It looked like a heart, and it was red and white, and I was so fixated with that character. In fact, I have a custom of him that I did, but I was so fixated with that. It was just, I had a Skeletor already. I had some other skeleton-like figures, but for the first time, I had a whole skeleton body, and this is pretty much exactly what this, of course, has some does have a few flaws on it, because this was molded in a kind of almost rubbery, flexible resin. Now, the guy who did this told me that he had made some for his son, and the rest he decided to sell on eBay. Well, I'm glad I found him. Now, again, these aren't perfect. I'm not going to use them to play with or pose much. But I am going to have them on display. Have them as a little background character. I think these are fun. I'd like to see... Now, I hate to say, oh, well, Realms of the Underworld... I hate to say, well, Realms of the Underworld is doing this, so... And I hate to kind of try to not... Or steal their thunder, but... Just imagine, if you will, if Super 7 were to get a hold of a mold like this and create a line of affordable skeleton characters. Now, the best skeleton toys that come out after this to me were the Skeleton Warriors in the 90s. But I had to wait about 10 years before that happened. And of course, they had so many accessories and armor, but just to have a plain old skeleton like that was so cool. So I used to have loads and loads of fun. Now, the actual original toy that looks like this goes for about 100, 200 bucks. I've seen. It's ridiculous. So I am actually going to try to see about purchasing some Realms of the Underworld equivalents. I don't know if the head is the right size or if the head is the same. I've seen that they look a little bit taller. So I have to see. I'm going to eventually, if I win the lotto, folks, I'm totally going to rebuild these old Pirates of the Galaxy collection. I never got the red one when I was a kid, but I did have the black one. And I'm very excited because it's just like when I got this in the mail and I put them together, it just like, and feeling just like feeling around and the hands, looking at the hands and staring at this, it just really took me back. And I started having all these like childhood flashbacks. And my dad had actually bought the original for me at, I think a store it was called McClellan's. That or a Perry's. There was a Perry's. Oops, I still got some green gunk from the toilet. Not toy toilet, from this toy toilet. I don't want y'all to think I'm that disgusting. But there used to be a series of stores. There was a McClellan's, Woolworths, and Perry's. There's another one. McClellan's, Munden's, Perry's, Woolworth. And those had a buttload of knockoff He-Man toys, where they the Warlord, or they had these guys, the Warrior Beasts, Pirates of the Galaxies, and later on they started carrying cool stuff like Infaceables, or that was like a few years later. But these guys, and at first I'd be like, well, Dad, these aren't He-Mans, but in a way some of these were a lot better. They were just a lot cooler. Let's get a contemporary Funko. Now, I don't want to give Funko ideas. Now, I do appreciate that Realms of the Underworld are putting these old molds out, because nobody really owns these molds. But my only thing about Realms of the Underworld, they're such a small company that they can't really afford to get these at a price that would be... they're not really cheap. I'm just going to say that. They're not really cheap. So here's this guy's like, isn't that cool? You get two of these figures together, and looks like an automatic like little battle scene where he's saying, hey, dude, get off my toilet. But yeah, I'm really this again, this takes me back, and I hope eventually I can find an original Rags at a decent price, so that I can show them to you all. Anyway, if the seller does decide that he's going to try to sell more of these, I'll let you know. Again, these are not, if you do manage to get one of these off of eBay, they are not meant to be played with. In fact, the joints will come off. I'm actually thinking of just gluing mine together and having them as a little statue figure. But I got two of them. I may end up even customizing one, just adding some details. See, his leg already came off. Like I said, will the arm move up a little bit? Yeah, the arm will move up a little bit. I'm not too worried about breaking it, because I do plan on... But just look at it. This is like, what, 1983 or something originally. I mean, just look how cool... Look at the direction that they were going at. And trying to do something a little bit better than He-Man. I thought it was very ambitious for Remco. And companies like Remco and Suco and Sungold to be going with this whole sword and sorcery, evil skeleton vibe. Oh, excuse me. Oh, that was one of those like silent little burps that just like comes out of your... I've been talking too much, so the air is just coming out of me slowly. Anyway, now I would have liked to use the original head, but beggars can't be choosers. Now I do remember the original head having these glowing, like either red or green eyes that just like, and his mouth was open, and he had like someone had airbrushed a few little minor details, just like the way they did with those old toys like Castle Grayskull, like but yeah, and of course he had a cape originally, and I lost a cape immediately, because that's what you do. You're a little kid, you lose the accessories. So I just lost a bid a few days back, and someone had probably gone for about 100, I think like 115 or something like that. And I was willing to go pretty high on that, just because It's part of my childhood. It's the stuff that, it just, for some reason, it just matters a lot to me. It makes me think about, like, oh, I don't want to get all sentimental, but it makes me think of how cool my dad was to just, like, find this at the store and say, hey, check this out, I want to buy this for my son, this cool skeleton. And of course, my dad was a huge Conan the Barbarian fan, so I don't know, I think a lot of this is lost now. I mean, we got that is still available, but for kids, I thought it was cool for a 5-year-old to be getting these demonic skeletons and things like that. I think I felt it toughened us up a little bit. I also drank beer at the age of 7. No, but yeah, folks, let me adjust this a little bit just because I know it's getting a little bit dark right there. But just one last look at him. I don't know. Let's give him a name. Billy Blackbones. There you go. Billy Blackbones. And I'll put this one together. If I do decide to do some customization or something like that, I'll let you all know. Maybe do another little follow-up video on it. But tell me, what do you all think? Were y'all fans? Did any of y'all have this figure here? Did any of y'all have skeleton warriors growing up? Do you all like skeletons like me? Anyway, catch you all later, and I hope you enjoyed this little video. Take care.